Kick Picks presented by Bros Talking Soccer. My name is Dave Knittel. I'm here with my brother Christian live in person. We are going in and out. There we go. We're focused again. We are talking about MLS match week 23.5. So we're in between match weeks 23 and 24. We got 5 MLS midweek games to talk about. Christian, hello. How are you doing today?
Dave, we got 5 MLS games this week. I'm super excited.
Yes. Me too.
Yeah,
that is going to drive me absolutely crazy. So, all right. Hopefully that will not continue to happen. But that is okay. Welcome to Quick Kick Picks. This is where we give our predictions for upcoming MLS matches. You can play along with us and give your predictions. If you get the home team's score correct, that is a point. If you get the away team score correct, that is a point. If you get the result of the match correct, that is a point. And Christian, if you get all 3 of those correct, what happens?
You get 2 extra bonus points, and that is 5 points up for grabs.
5 points up for grabs in every single match that we're talking about here. So your midweek games, that would equate to 25 quick maths, 25 points up for grabs. The highest score at the end of the month will get to come on our podcast, interact with us, just have a ton of fun, and it'll be an amazing time.
We got another brother who will be there too.
Maybe. Yeah. We never really know what he's up to. But yes, in all likelihood, he will be there. Last quick little housekeeping item for you. We restrict ourselves to 2 minutes about or so for each of these games that we talk about, and that is because Twitter restricts us to 2 minutes and 20 seconds per video. And
they don't restrict us?
They restrict us as well as restrict us, Christian. They're restricted and restricted, and I can't take it anymore. All right, we ready to talk about these games? Yes. Also, I am traveling. I'm home. In case you can't tell, we are actually sitting next to each other. This isn't just awesome CGI or anything like that, which we have the budget for. Bros Talking Soccer,
we're just massive.
Oh my God, huge. You know. But I'm here, so I did not bring my fancy signs. So I know everybody's very upset about that. I feel terrible. I'm upset about it.
And you probably should feel terrible.
But signs will be back by this weekend because I am leaving tomorrow. All right, let's get into it. Kicking things off on Wednesday, August 14th, we have Orlando City FC hosting Sporting Kansas City, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's going to happen here?
So I think that Orlando is going to win this game because they're at home, but I really am just not super confident in either of these teams. Orlando can be good on their day. I think that they have attacking pieces where they can score goals. But there are times where they just look a mess. Specifically defensively, I have no confidence in them. And Sporting Kansas City, on the other hand, I have no confidence anywhere on that team right now. I know they were stricken by injuries. Stricken? Yeah, stricken by injuries.
Let's go with it. So.
Yeah. They were struck.
All right.
Okay. They have lost players over the year, and I understand that. But they have found no ways to recover in any time during the season. And even with an experienced manager such as Vermees, I think that they still should have found ways to get points, especially at home. And I know this one's on the road. They should have been able to pick up points more than they have this year. They have too talented of a roster. And again, I know that they are getting killed with these injuries back to back to back. But at some point, you just can't use that as an excuse anymore. So I think I'm going with Orlando wins this game. I'm going 2-0 in this one.
Okay, so Orlando, they had a good result over the weekend. They drew at Toronto, but they haven't had back-to-back wins at home since April. And their last home match was a home win over FC Dallas. So going with that trend, they're most likely not going to win here. They're a bottom half of the table attacking side, but Christian, you touched on you didn't have confidence in their defense. They're actually a top half of the table defensive side. So they're actually pretty strong on the defensive side. Not great at home, though. 0 goal difference on the year. That's not an encouraging sign. They're also playing at Minnesota. So if they're going to play a stronger lineup, I would expect it to be happening here. Now, SKC, they lost at home to RSL. I think that was the last nail in the coffin on their playoff hopes. They're mediocre on the road by MLS standards, only slightly more than 1 point per game, and they won at Seattle in their most recent road match. And over their last 7 road matches, they have 3 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So they actually are a decent side. They're playing San Jose at home, so we might see some lineup rotation here, but ultimately I'm predicting this one to end up as a 1-1 draw. My homemade expected goals model is this one, 1.44 to 1.18. Christian, anything else to add? Next match we are talking about, we have the Minnesota United. I don't know why I do that all the time. We have Minnesota United. I don't know why I add the in there versus hosting the Colorado Rapids at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, Minnesota, they lost 5-3 at FC Dallas over the weekend, but they rotated their lineup a decent amount, and they had some good results prior to that. So I don't think that's too much of a concern. That was also their first loss in 11 competitive matches. I think they had 1 loss in a friendly in there. They have a home match at against Orlando, home match against Orlando on Saturday. So I expect them to play relatively full strength lineup in both of these games. They are one of the strongest home sides in the league, 2.1 points per game at home. They have a plus 12 goal difference, only one loss on the season, and they're undefeated in their last 8 competitive matches at home. Now, Colorado, they have back-to-back wins at home over Montreal and San Jose. It's pretty good from them. They're tied for 5th in the league in goals per game, but the ratio is much better at home than it is on the road. They're only scoring 1.2 goals per game on the road. That's not really great. They only have one road win all season, and I expect Minnesota to win this one 3-1. Homemade expected goals model is this one 1.73 to 1.32. Christian, what do you expect?
I have no hope for Colorado in this game. I think that they have the ability to score goals, and we will see that in this game. They're going to create chances, and I think I agree with you. They'll only score one goal. But Minnesota at home this year have been lights out. Like you said, they have over 2.1 points per game, and that is an insane stat. To get over 2 points per game at home is incredible, and you're making yourself a fortress if you're able to turn Allianz Field into that type of environment. They have shocked me. I did not expect a lot of them coming into the season. And they continue to grind out results, and they may be the hottest team in MLS right now, up there with obviously LAFC, and I guess San Jose could possibly be in that discussion. But I think that Colorado have the ability, but will have no hope in this specific game. They're 10 points off the playoff race still, which is surprising considering the run that they went on. That just shows how bad of a start they had to the season. And I'm going with a Minnesota 4-1 victory here.
Even bigger than mine. One last thing, Colorado hasn't been shut out since April, and so I do think that they do get a goal here, but I'm with you. Handy Minnesota victory. Next match we are talking about, we have Real Salt Lake hosting the Seattle Sounders at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what are you expecting?
Well, this is definitely the highlight of the midweek, and I'm really interested to see how this one plays out, because RSL have been extremely strong at home in the past few weeks, and
season.
But specifically, they've been winning big in the past couple of weeks. And Seattle have been extremely good at home, but when they're on the road, they haven't been as good. And I mean, that's pretty much true with every team in the world. But they're an anomaly. So Seattle, I think, have the talent to really cause Real Salt Lake problems this week. But I think RSL continues that hot streak at home. They are just so solid for some reason at home. On the road, they have been really poor. It's crazy how the difference in fortunes can be when you're depending on where you're playing. So I think RSL wins this game. I think it's going to be very close, and I think it's going to be very attacking, but I'm going with I'm going to go big here. A lot of goals. 4-2 victory for RSL here.
Wow. I have this one being tight as well. I really wanted to predict this one as a 1-1, but RSL is the 3rd best team in the league on a points per game basis at home, and I'm going to give them the slight edge. I think they ultimately win 2-1. You touched on them being very good over their last few home matches. Over their last 5 MLS matches at home, they've only conceded 2 goals and they've scored 11. So you were spot on there. They're doing fantastic. They haven't lost at home since March 30th. Petke being fired is an interesting dynamic happening with this team, but he's been suspended for the last few weeks, and they're undefeated over their last 3 matches. So I don't think they're going to see a huge drop-off in form. Seattle, meanwhile, since the July 17th friendly against Borussia Dortmund, they only have 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses. They're not in a great run of form. They conceded 3 goals in each of their last 2 games. Both those were at home, too. So going on the road, I could see them conceding a bunch of goals. Torres being suspended has a lot to do with them conceding those goals, and obviously he's a huge loss. You touch on them not being great on the road. They're only getting 1.1 points per game. They've only scored 13 goals in 11 matches on the road, so the offense really struggling. That's why I think ultimately RSL prevails 2-1. Our KXG homemade expected goals model has this one 1.3 to 0.98, so it has it being relatively low scoring, but I think we're predicting something slightly different, and our timer is quiet again. Next match, anything else?
Nope.
Next match we are talking about, we have the LA Galaxy hosting FC Dallas at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Galaxy have had 3 consecutive losses and have lost 4 of their last 5 in MLS play. In those games, they've only scored 5 goals, but they've conceded 14. So they're losing on average about by 2 goals per game. Not great. Zlatan was suspended for 1 of those matches, and 3 of them were on the road, but still not great sign from them. They are playing at home against Seattle on Saturday, and I think that's a slightly bigger game here. So I don't expect to see too much lineup rotation, but wouldn't be shocked to see a little bit of it. Dallas, meanwhile, they're coming off a big 5-3 victory over a heavily rotated Minnesota United side over the weekend. They haven't repeated a result in MLS play since they had 3 straight losses in early May. They won their most recent match, so, going off of trends, they're not going to win here, but also they're not a great road side. 0.8 points per game on the road. That's 16th in the league. Their last 8 road games, they have 1 win, 1 draw, and 6 losses. Not great for them. Galaxy, I said all of that. And KXG, home expected goals model, has this one 1.7 to 1.26 in favor of FC Dallas. I just don't have in favor of LA Galaxy. I just don't have confidence in this LA Galaxy team. And I'm actually predicting a 2-2 result. Christian, what are you expecting?
Wow. I don't think that, but now looking at the table, probably 3 weeks ago before Galaxy started to take this tumble here, or I guess it was 5 weeks ago now, or 5 games ago, I would have said, okay, the Galaxy really aren't playing for as much as Dallas are, because they were pretty firmly in second place. Yeah, they had Seattle chasing them, and now Minnesota and San Jose are really catching up and now have passed them. Galaxy are in 5th place, and if they lose this game, Dallas will pass them, and they could potentially be in 7th or 8th. And that is a very worrying sign if you're a Galaxy fan or a Galaxy player. I think the LA Galaxy, obviously, in the attack have Zlatan, and he is just a force. But the rest of their team have really not been good enough this year. And I think that they have to step up if they really want to make a playoff run here. I don't know if I have confidence in Dallas on the road just because of how they have been playing this year. So I think the Galaxy will right the ship, at least for this one game, and they'll get a 2-1 result in this match.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of confidence in predicting a draw here, but so I could easily see the Galaxy putting it together, but going bold here, predicting a draw. Last match we were talking about, last midweek game, we have the Portland Timbers hosting the Chicago Fire at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what are you expecting?
I can only see a Portland victory in this game. I think the Fire at home have been very good this season, and it's been surprising to me, but on the road, they have been the worst team, probably, or one of the worst teams.
Tied for the worst.
Yeah, they have been abysmal, and that's not what you want to be, if I'm being honest. Abysmal is not a good word. So unless you're Joey Tribbiani, then it's great. So Portland at home, obviously, are always very strong. Providence Park provides an atmosphere almost unrivaled in MLS, other than maybe with Atlanta and Seattle, those types of environments that are difference makers. And when you go to Portland, it's intimidating. And I think that the ability to score goals for them is huge at home. And what are they averaging? Almost 2.5 goals a game?
Yeah, 2.4 goals per game.
So it's incredible what they're able to accomplish right now. At home, there's no chance, in my opinion, that the Fire get anything from this game. And I think it's going to be a heavy victory this time around. Maybe the Fire get a goal. I'm predicting a 5-1 victory for the Timbers this midweek.
Wow, that high scoring. So I agree with you. Chicago has been terrible on the road, but they are coming off of a road victory over the Dynamo, who were one of the strongest sides at home in the league. They've won 2 straight and are undefeated in 3. Having said all of that, the Chicago Fire are tied for worst in points per game on the road. They're scoring 0.75 goals per game on the road and conceding 1.75. Not great numbers. They are hosting Philly over the weekend, and that's an Eastern Conference matchup. So I would expect them to be going, harder for that. Maybe you see a lineup rotation in this midweek. Portland's coming off of a home victory over the Whitecaps. They're undefeated in 6 of their 7 MLS home games. Their last 6, they've been undefeated. They're only conceding 1 goal per game. You already touched on them, scoring 2.4 goals per game at home, and they're also hosting Atlanta over the weekend. So again, 2 back-to-back home games. Don't expect to see a lot of lineup rotation from Portland here. I have this one ending up as a 3-0 Portland victory. Homemade expected goals model has this one 1.9 to 1.42 in favor of Portland. So model predicting a relatively high-scoring match here as well. So Christian might be onto something there. Anything else to add?
Nope.
That is okay. That is it. I don't need to be yelled at twice there, phone. That has been your Quick Kick Picks, your midweek Quick Kick Picks, match week 23.5. Go enjoy some MLS action. Make sure to leave your predictions either below the video if you're watching on YouTube, or preferably send them over to our Twitter account at BT Soccer Pod. Make sure you're following us over there. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Christian, anything else you would like to say?
Let's go get some matches played.